Hey, what's up everybody? It's BaldGuyAce, and this is my 2020 guide on how to max enchant your sword Pro Edition. I'm going to show you how to enchant your sword with every good enchant currently available with only one anvil use. Even if you're not a pro, you can still follow along with this guide and simply get a downgraded version of the pricier enchants. But if you're short on coins or you'd prefer to craft all of the enchants yourself, then I'd recommend using my original max sword enchanting guide, which still works really well for most players. Before I get into this video, please consider embracing the baldness by hitting the subscribe button. If even just 10% of the people who watch this video click subscribe, I could reach YouTube rank, which would allow me to create many more guides for you guys. If you're on the fence, you might as well just hit subscribe now, then you can always unsubscribe later if you don't find the video useful, but hopefully you will. If you're already subbed and you find this video useful, you could also help me out by hitting that like button and sharing the video with your friends. So although it's hard to believe, my original sword enchant video came out almost a year ago and amassed more than 180,000 views. But since then, several enchants have received upgraded versions, and enchants that used to be bugged are now fixed. So first I'm going to go through every good enchant that you would want on your sword, and then I'm going to show how to combine those enchants to get one anvil use on your weapon. In my example, I'm going to be using a livid dagger, but you can use any melee weapon that you want. So I know there's a lot of debate about some enchants, such as the infamous cleave, so feel free to leave me a comment below letting me know what your opinion is on cleave and other controversial enchants. So since this is a pro guide, I would highly recommend buying any enchants that you can, and only crafting enchants if they happen to be overpriced or sold out on the auction house. When searching for enchants on the auction house, here's a few tips that you should know. First, don't type the number of the enchant into the search window or nothing will come up. So you just want to type the main name of the enchant into the search, then go to consumables, make sure that BIN is selected, then change the sort to lowest price, then change the item tier filter to the rarity of the enchant that you're looking for. This makes it a lot easier to scroll through and find the lowest priced book of the enchant that you want. While I go through the enchants to buy on the auction house, I'm going to leave a graphic up with all the enchants that you're going to want on your sword. But don't just pause the video here, because I'm going to talk about each enchant and whether you may or may not want certain ones on your weapon, depending on your situation. By the way, if any of these enchants aren't available on the auction house because they're sold out, you can craft many of them yourself. I'll leave the enchants and the collection that unlocks them in the description of this video just in case you need it. I'll also include a list of any new enchants that come out after this video is released, so be sure to check this video's description for all the latest updates. So to get Sharpness 5, you would filter to Uncommon, and it should cost between 15 to 30,000 coins. If you have a lot of coins, you can filter the search to Rare and get Sharpness 6 instead, but it costs almost 10 million coins for about 5% extra melee damage, so I'll leave it up to you whether you decide to use it. I'm personally going to stick with Sharpness 5. It's important to keep in mind that if you're enchanting your sword for Revenant or Terra Slayers, then you don't want Sharpness on your sword. For Revenant Slayers, instead of Sharpness, you want to use Smite 6, and for Tara Slayers, instead of Sharpness, you want to use Bane of Arthropod 6. But those are two specific situations, and any other time you want to use Sharpness. Next, you want to filter to Rare and buy a critical 6 book. It costs generally between 300 to 500,000 coins. I highly recommend getting critical 6, but if you want to save some coins, you can filter the search to Uncommon and get critical 5 for around 25 to 30,000 coins. You want to get First Strike 4, which you can get by filtering to Common, and it goes for around 30 to 40,000 coins. You can get Giant Killer 5 by filtering to Uncommon, and that goes for around 15 to 20,000 coins. It's worth noting that Giant Killer 6 is available if you filter to Rare, but it goes for almost 10 million coins, and supposedly you hit the cap anyway with Giant Killer 5, so I wouldn't recommend getting 6 unless you're just trying to flex. Next, you want to filter to Uncommon and get an Execute 5 book, which goes between 20 to 40,000 coins. To get a Lethality 6 book, you want to filter to Rare, and that goes for between 100 to 300,000 coins. You can also filter to Uncommon and get a Lethality 5 book for around 20,000 coins, but Lethality 6 is highly recommended if you're going to be doing dungeons. You can filter to Uncommon and get an Ender Slayer 5 book for around 15 to 20,000 coins, but if this is your main sword and you want to put all the best enchants on it, then I recommend going to the end and buying an Ender Slayer 6 book for 1.5 million coins. The next enchant you want to get is Cubism 5, which you can get by filtering to Uncommon, and it goes for between 20 to 50,000 coins. Then you want to get Impaling 3, which you can get by filtering to Common, and it goes between 15 to 40,000 coins. You can get Vampirism 5 by filtering to Uncommon, or you could filter to Rare and get Vampirism 6, but it's currently between 4 to 6 million coins on the auction house. So I'm personally going to go with Vampirism 5, but if you want all the best enchants on your sword, then feel free to go with Vampirism 6. So you can get Lifesteal 3 by filtering to Common for around 50 to 100,000 coins, but because Lifesteal is a really good enchant to have on your sword, I personally recommend getting Lifesteal 4, even though it goes for around 2 million coins on the auction house. But it's totally up to you, and you could definitely go with Lifesteal 3. You can get Looting 4 by filtering to common for between 40 to 70,000 coins. You can get Luck 6 by filtering to rare for between 20 to 60,000 coins. You want to get Scavenger 4 by filtering to common for between 15 to 60,000 coins. You can get Experience 3 for only about 10,000 coins by filtering to common, but if this is your main sword, you probably want to scroll over a few pages until you get to Experience 4, which costs between 600 to 800,000 coins. You can filter to uncommon if you want to get Thunderlord 5 for between 70 to 90,000 coins, but I'm going to actually get Thunderlord 6, which I recommend getting if it's your main weapon, and that's usually going for between 150 to 350,000 coins. So in case anyone was wondering, Venomous is totally fixed, and you should definitely put it on your sword because it's a good enchant to have. You can get Venomous 5 by filtering to uncommon, and it's around 80,000 coins. So you can get Cleave by filtering to uncommon for about 30,000 coins. When it comes to getting Cleave, it's worth noting that the First Strike and Invincibility frames glitches have been fixed for a while now, and there isn't much of a reason to not put it on your sword. However, due to players still thinking that it's not fixed, using it could lower the price of your weapon if you want to resell it on the auction house. So I'll leave it up to you about whether or not you want to use Cleave, but I'm going to start the trend of using Cleave by putting it on my Livid Dagger in this video. By the way, for those wondering, Dragon Hunter 5 is an optional enchant that you could put on your sword, but I would only use it if you're an extreme dragon hunter. Aside from costing 16 million coins, I've even heard from some people that it makes very little difference in dragon damage. But if you want it, by all means go for it. Personally, I'm going to pass. And congrats, you now have every enchant that you want to put onto your sword. Before we start combining the books, this is just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Subscribing is by far the most important thing you can do to help my channel grow so that I could keep on making guides. And best of all, it's free. So when you're combining books, it helps to have a God Potion active if you were planning on using one anyway. But if you weren't planning on using a God Potion, you can just make an Experience 4 potion with a Viking tier, because the 40% extra Experience Orbs saves you a good amount of Grand Experience bottles. The idea here is that we're going to create 4 mid-sized books that we can then combine with each other into one large book with everything on it that we can put on our sword to get 1 anvil use. The way I'm about to show you how to enchant might not be the 100% cheapest way to combine, but it should be relatively cheap and require only Grand Experience bottles, no Titanic bottles. The amount of experience levels needed will be slightly different depending on which level enchants you decided to get. But the main thing you want to do in order to use the least experience levels is always put the book with the most anvil uses on the right side of the anvil and the book with the least anvil uses on the left side. So I have my books placed in my inventory so that each mid-sized book I want to create takes up 1 row, and you want to make sure that the very last enchant that you put onto each mid-sized book has either 1 or preferably 0 anvil uses on it. Also, if you use a different level enchant than what I use, you can just replace the book that I have with the one that you're using. It shouldn't make too big of a difference. So starting off with book 1, you want to put Ender Slayer on the left side and Sharpness on the right side, and then you want to combine those, and in my case it costs 12 experience levels. You then want to take that book and you want to put that on the right side of the anvil, and you want to put Thunderlord 6 on the left side of the anvil, and then you want to combine that, which in my case costs 30 experience levels. You then want to put that book on the right side and you want to put Critical 6 on the left and combine that for 66 experience levels. It's worth noting that if you flop this, it would actually be a lot cheaper to combine them, but then you would end up with an extra anvil use on the book, which would in the long run cost more experience levels. So for now, we're going to actually put it like this, and we're going to combine it even though it costs 66 experience levels. So we now have 1 mini book complete, so we can put that on the side for now. For book 2, you can put Execute 5 on the left and Impaling 3 on the right, and you can combine that for 13 experience levels. Then you want to put that book on the right side, and you want to put Lethality 6 on the left side, and you can combine those for 27 experience levels. Then you want to put that book on the right side and Venomous 5 on the left side, and you can combine those for 30 experience levels. Then you put that book on the right side and Scavenger 4 on the left side, and you can combine all that into your second book for 43 experience levels, and then we can place this on the side. Then for your third book, you can put Vampirism 5 on the left side and Giant Killer on the right side, and you can combine those for 12 experience levels. Then you can put that book on the right side and Experience 4 on the left side, and you can combine those for 25 experience levels. Then you want to put that book on the right side and Looting 4 on the left side, and you can combine those for 31 experience levels. Now you have your third book, and you can put that on the side. For your fourth book, you can put First Strike 4 on the left side, and you can put Cleave 5 on the right side, and you can combine those two for 12 experience levels. Then you can put that book on the right side and Lifesteal 4 on the left side. And now I know what your next question is going to be, but what if I decided not to put Cleave on my sword? If you decide to not use Cleave, you can just put First Strike 4 by itself on the right side and then Lifesteal 4 on the left, and you can just skip that first step. And so either way, we can continue from here. In my case, it costs 24 experience levels to combine these two together, and then you want to take take this book, put it on the right side, and then put Cubism 5 on the left side, and combine those for 24 experience levels. Then you take that book and you put it on the right side, and you take your Luck 6 book and you put it on the left side, and you combine those together to make your 4th book for 45 experience levels. And now you have all 4 mini books. It's worth noting that if you don't actually care about anvil uses, that once you get your 4 books together, you can actually put them individually onto the sword one at a time, instead of actually putting them all together into one big book first. So it really depends if you want one anvil use on your sword or if you're okay with putting 4 on there. Now you can put the first book that you made on the left and the second book on the right, and you can combine those together for 49 experience levels into a book with half the stuff in it. So then you want to take the book that we just made, put it on the right side, and then you want to take your third book and you want to put it on the left side, and you want to enchant those together for 126 experience levels. Then you want to take this large book that we just made, put it on the right side, take your 4th and final book, put it on the left side, and you want to enchant these together into one ginormous book for 165 experience levels. And now that we have all of the enchants in one large book, we can put that large book on the right side, and we can put our sword or dagger or whatever it is that you want to enchant onto the left side. And in my case, I would enchant this for 208 experience levels. And in case you're wondering, it took me only a stack of grand experience bottles to get to 208 experience levels. It might be slightly different for you depending on your enchanting level. And here we go, 3, 2, 1, boom. And look at that, we now have a 1 anvil use weapon with all of these enchants on it. And we were able to do it without using any Titanic bottles. But we're not quite done. Don't forget to go to Rusty in the Gold Mine and put telekinesis onto your weapon. If you found this guide useful, it would be super awesome if you could please hit that like button so that YouTube will show this video to more people. Also, I know I mentioned it a bunch already, but hitting that subscribe button is the absolute best thing you can do to help my channel grow, and it allows me to create even more guides for you. I'm going to be updating the video description with any new enchants that come out, so be sure to read that to make sure you're up to date. Well, thanks a lot for watching, and until my next guide, I'm BaldGuyAce, reminding you to embrace the baldness.